Hi, welcome to Module 5. Listen, accept, and let go. In this module, it's all about how we can best deal with life, how we can live our mission and our passion while still dealing with the things that touch us, influence us, block us, or sometimes even put or turn our world upside down. I will talk about the role of our emotions and how to deal with them. How do we use our mental state to stay on our path? And how can we stay true to ourselves and be what we want to be and achieve what we want to achieve? Emotions. Emotions are part of life. They come and they go. Emotions give you a valuable signal. This signal can say something about how you feel at this moment, whether something is happening that is good for you or not good for you. Preservation or loss of boundaries, yours or someone else's. Processing an event in the present. Expectations that you have about a moment in your future. Or the past, that which is not yet fully processed. And it is important to feel and articulate an emotion. This helps you to process it and to put the experience with which the emotion is connected to rest. You may have the opinion that an emotion is not functional or it inhibits you or blocks you. Then realize that this is the meaning that you give to it. And if it's your choice to ignore or repress the emotion, then know that it gets bigger instead of smaller when you do that. Moreover, ignoring and repressing emotions takes a lot of energy. Your attention is focused on the negative of the emotion. And because you attract what you focus on, you have to work hard again to repress it, which means it gets more attention again. So you better apply the triple A principle. Aware, accept, and articulate. When you do this, the feelings will be released and you let them go. And letting go means fully accepting that which is, so that you don't have to pay too much attention to it. So you can only let go when you have first embraced and expressed it. Everything you've expressed or accept gets a place and can be experienced. And as a result, it requires less attention and it is automatically transformed. Carl Jung puts it as follows: emotion is the most important source of all awareness. Without emotion, there can be no transformation of darkness into light and of apathy into motion. An emotion is an inner, positive or negative experience of, for example, joy, fear, anger, sadness, that is triggered by a certain internal or external event. It's a reaction of our brain to an incentive, which almost automatically is expressed in physiological responses and specific behavior. For example, fleeing or approaching. This automatic reaction takes place from the limbic system or the amygdala. Feeling is the conscious experience or the mental reflection of an emotion. It is the explicit experience of the physical reactions that are automatically evoked during an emotion. Feelings exist in people because of the highly developed prefrontal cortex, so that we experience a conscious experience of our environmental stimuli. Emotion and motivation. Emotions mainly have to do with the fulfillment of values, of what is and what is not important to us. If an important value is fulfilled, you feel good. If an important value is not fulfilled or it's crossed, you are not feeling well. Emotions are important indicators for your motivation in the moment, because they determine the behavior that you demonstrate. They can also act as a driver for achieving a specific goal. You can achieve a goal by avoiding something, punishment or pain, or focusing on what you want to achieve, a reward or pleasure. Usually both movements are in the present. So, like animals, we primarily focus on reward as a positive reinforcement. That gives us a good feeling, and this is also the reason why change is so difficult for us. We prefer to keep everything the same, so we know where we stand and we feel safe. Changing causes uncertainty and pain. Just think about breaking up a relationship, quitting your job, quitting smoking. We prefer to choose for short-term pleasure, and then we will see what the future holds. This instead of short-term pain and long-term pleasure. In short, the motivation behind reward and pleasure is so strong in us that we allow our behavior and the choices we make to be guided by this. Emotional awareness. Emotions or emotional reactions mainly say something about ourselves, about our perception of the world and the meaning we give to our experience. This implies immediately that the responsibility for our emotion lies in the structure of our own world, in the cognitive structure of our perceptions. Change of perception of your world leads to change of your emotional response. And emotion is one of the most important avenues for self-awareness. If you assume that you are at the helm of your life, so at the helm of your own emotional household. An important starting point is that you choose your emotional response yourself. Pain is unavoidable, but suffering is a choice. Or you cannot determine the wind direction, but you can determine how you keep the sails. In other words, what you feel is who you are. All emotions are positive and useful if you consider them as signals or information. You can further develop your emotional intelligence by investigating this signal function. When you do this, you understand more about yourself and you can get control over your emotions. And this is a fundamental form of awareness. Developing emotional wealth and making your own choices, self-determination, increases your quality of life. For every emotional reaction, a situation is conceivable where that reaction is useful and valuable, where the emotion is the source that you need in that moment. This creates a more conscious choice of how you want to live your life emotionally. As you know by now, unconscious thought patterns and the associated emotions create your reality. So the more awareness and conscious emotional control, the more you can shape your own reality. Emotions are carriers of life energy. If you do not make contact with your emotions, you cut yourself off from your own energy. And fighting it only costs energy, which means a double energy loss. And you lose important information that inform you about how you feel, how you are doing, and what you need. Befriending your emotions. What would happen if you immediately stopped calling painful emotions and feelings negative? If you can look at your own emotions without judgment and welcome them as part of you. And what would it be like if you could trust that your heart can cope, even in the most severe pain? The heart heals itself when you know how to listen to it. If you see an emotion that you fear most and you treat it like a friend instead of an enemy, you can befriend your emotion and with that, yourself. The key to making friends with your emotions is an attitude of acceptance. This is an unusual way for most of us to relate to discomfort. However, you can develop this kind of acceptance. It means that you allow the emotion to be as is, to not condemn it, to not analyze it, not to want to change it, not to control it, resist it, or deny it. Not to minimize it, not to suppress it, not to even admit it or throw it. You look at it without judgment. You do nothing with it. This way you can surrender to it in full awareness and experience the natural intelligence of the heart. And beliefs that prevent you from making friends with your emotions are all present in our lives. For example, if I allow my emotions, then I will be crushed and consumed by them. They will take charge and I lose control of my life. I may be rejected and others can do with me whatever they want. I am weak and I will fail. I have to change my life. And these are not truths. These are beliefs. And people, they also justify not feeling. For example, in the belief, if I can control, analyze, understand my emotions with my head, there is no reason to really have or feel my emotions. Well, this is not how it works. Emotions in a spiritual perspective. The soul expresses itself in emotions and feelings. This is the language of the soul. And this shows you the way to your soul path. Emotions are like an inner compass. If you sense your emotions and give words to them, you can discover yourself, move consciously through life, and gain insight into what you really want. A person consists of a physical body that manifests itself on earth, and an immaterial soul. The core of the human being is this soul, which is immortal and evolves ever more towards unity. In this evolution, the soul must find balance between love for itself and love for the other and the greater whole. Personal development always happens from the soul. The soul has contact with the greater whole and is in connection with the universe, where all knowledge and wisdom is located. Everything that happens is part of a larger universal plan, and everything that happens makes sense. The soul makes the connection between you as a human being here on earth and the universe. You can choose to be guided by that or not. And how can you discover your soul path? By acceptance of the here and now, by being connected to the larger whole, by allowing, feeling and expressing your emotions and feelings. Articulate what you feel in language, in words. Expressing what you feel is the key to discovering who you are and what is important to your life, to you and in your life. Even if you cannot interpret the emotion directly, the words help you to understand it better. If you know what you feel, you also know what your soul wants. And if you know what your soul wants, then you can act in accordance with your soul. By expressing your feelings, it becomes clear to yourself what your feelings indicate to you. And it's important to also articulate the words. Give your feelings a voice. This ensures that you understand yourself better and that the person to whom you express your feelings also gets clarity about what you want and therefore also what you do not want. If you do not follow your soul, emotions and tensions will settle in your body. Your body is a kind of soul gauge. The soul wants recognition of its presence and ensures that your actions correspond to her being. If you follow this, it will give you a good feeling. And the soul only wants you to be completely yourself and act from your essential nature. And the soul shows you the way and it indicates what is good for you, always. And you can see your intuition as a sense organ of the soul. Through your intuition, you can feel whether something is right or wrong in the light of your soul's development. What helps with this is to bring your intentions in line with your soul. They are the drivers, the reasons for your actions. And following your soul is a confrontation with yourself. It requires commitment, courage, willpower, and perseverance. You are constantly reminded of it by experiencing unpleasant experiences. And these are signals that you are not close enough yet to your true self. The vibrational frequency of emotions. If you do not feel right now as you would like to feel, then it's time to take action. Your emotions and feelings in the now determine what you attract. So break your pattern and choose a different or better feeling state. Choose for an emotion or a feeling with a higher vibrational frequency. Every step forward brings you closer to who you really are. Emotions and feelings can be represented in a scale that increases in vibrational frequency from high to low. And this is an overview of this. I will, you see here joy at the top and fear all the way at the bottom. And I will share this overview with you so you can take a look at it at your own leisure. But you can see how things go from a high vibrational frequency to a low one. And you can see, for example, that anger is higher here. It's a higher vibrational frequency than depression, which is down here. And that's because depression keeps you small. You give others priority over yourself. And anger makes you at least stand up for yourself. It opens a window to the desire to be yourself. And what matters is that everything is a vibrational match. What you think, feel, what you desire, and what you manifest is always a match. If your feeling is very strong, without resistance or incongruity, then this will manifest itself in the physical world. And resistance is the main cause for the distance between your current and your desired emotion. Resistance creates obstacles and keeps you on a lower vibration. If you can let go of this resistance, then you can raise your vibration and resonate with the real you. This process starts with accepting the current situation, and then meditation, mantras or affirmations and an attitude of gratitude can help you let go of resistance and get to a higher vibrational frequency. The point is that you are able to hear the call of your soul through your emotions and feelings, and to follow these by choosing the right frequency. So if you do not want what you have created, then you must emanate a different vibration. Choose a different frequency. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So compare yourself with a radio tower. You can decide for yourself what you send and what you receive, including what you want to send and receive. And you don't have to solve or repair anything. You don't owe another person anything. You just have to strive to feel better. Letting go and holding on. We can learn to let go by gaining insight into what we hold on to. Why do we hold on to what happened in the past? Why do we hold on to the fear of an uncertain future? Why are we afraid of loss? From a deeper understanding of how we unconsciously hold on to unprocessed and suppressed emotions, blocks, resistance, and protection mechanisms, we gain insight into why we cannot utilize and live our full potential. Becoming free from what stops us from living fully, that is letting go. And what stands in the way of us discovering the still unknown potential in ourselves is the unconscious fear that our lives will get out of control. Our survival brains want continuity, and that includes control. Letting go means danger. Flow, or our optimum state of living and acting, is not a state of control. It's a state of absence of the fear of losing control. It's a state of deep faith in ourselves and life. Holding on has to do with our ego. Eckhart Tolle says, thoughts and emotions become ego when we identify ourselves with them. That is, when we are so subconsciously taken over by them that they become me. And when we become aware of the ego as false identification, it is strictly speaking no longer the ego, but a set of mental programs. Lester Levinson puts it this way: the ego is nothing but your habit self, your reactive self. It consists of holding on and control. Your true self, on the other hand, is your spontaneous self. It consists of letting go. If you can expose the habit self by resolving mental and emotional structures, what remains is the spontaneous, natural self. And we let go by creating distance in time and space to the world of form, for example, by meditating. As an observer, we can then observe our outer and inner world. We gain insight through self-observation and self-reflection. The ultimate goal of letting go is a state of equanimous inner peace, a state of zero resistance to the sensory material world. And if we see that it's not our me who is doing something wrong, but that the cause is our circumstances, a thought or a custom or a belief, we can more easily let go and correct it. It is inherent to human beings to hold on to feelings for a long time. Eckhart Tolle once gave the example of ducks. When they have a fight, they flap their wings a few times to shake off the tension afterwards. Then they continue to swim on peacefully. We, on the other hand, create an identity with the thoughts that we link to that experience or feeling. The problem is that we have often unknowingly identified ourselves with things that we experienced as a child. For example, if we were bitten by a dog as a child, we will stay away from them for the rest of our lives. Staying away from ourselves, unfortunately, is a lot more difficult. Also, we respond to others the way we treat ourselves. So if we are strict with ourselves, we will place also very high demands on others. And moreover, any somewhat similar situation, for example, a date that does not return your call, can bring back a little bit of the pain of feeling abandoned as a child. And the solution to all of this lies in awareness. If we are aware of this tendency to identify and hold on, we can choose our response from a position without judgment and resistance. Because in the end, resistance creates all of our suffering. True freedom and enlightened living. I want to end this module with a lovely chapter from the book A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. It's about the temporary nature of our experiences in life. If you are struggling with anything right now, you probably feel like the pain and the suffering are never going to go away. That it's going to last forever, or at least for a very long time. We underestimate the power of time. Look back at your life. How many obstacles have you overcome? No matter how hard it was, with time you have found peace. You know, therefore, that nothing lasts forever. And whatever pain you are feeling now is only temporary. This too will pass. It's always good to be reminded of that. It brings a bit of peace. But there's more to this quote. Just like the bad moments don't last forever, neither do the good ones. You might have been in an amazing, loving relationship that ended, or had a great job and suddenly found yourself jobless. Maybe somebody you deeply cared about passed away. This too will pass. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing is stable or unmovable. On the contrary, everything changes. Knowing that nothing will last forever, that at one point it will come to an end, brings a weird sensation of peace and calmness. It makes you stop fighting what is and simply accept it. And it allows you to appreciate everything more in your life. You start looking at every good moment as a true gift. You are not entitled to anything. It is not anyone else's duties to give you. It is not something you deserve or you should get. The fact that you can live this moment is a gift from the universe to you. If you look at every event this way, you will cherish every day. If your love story lasted only a few months, rather than contemplating and hurting why it is so short, you will feel gratitude that you got to experience it for that long. And if a person close to your heart is struggling with a fatal disease, you will be thankful for every day that you have with them, rather than blaming something or someone that this person is being taken away. Remember, nothing is yours. You don't have the right to own anything. Everything you get in life is a gift and should be treated like one. Look at things with gratitude rather than blame. In other words, don't get too attached. Now, you might have read or heard that attachment is a source of suffering. Attachment is not bad. It is beautiful. It's what makes parents take care of their children, and couples stay forever for over 50 years and longer, even though they're not as crazy in love as they were when they first met. However, be ready to let go. Remember that it wasn't yours to start with. No matter what experience you are going through, you are borrowing it from the universe. It is not your property. So when the time comes to say goodbye, just do that. Say goodbye. Don't allow anything external to dictate your life, and especially your happiness. Don't allow yourself to become dependent on something or somebody. Get attached, but don't get addicted. Remember, everything in your life will pass. Accept it. It's the first step to true peace of heart. This too will pass. As part of this module, you will receive a bracelet from me with the words, "This too will pass." Wear this bracelet always. Whatever happens, before you call it good or bad, touch it and read the inscription. That way you will always be at peace. The inscription is not telling you that you should not enjoy the good in your life. Neither are they merely words to provide some comfort in times of suffering. They have a deeper purpose. These words will help you to be aware of the fleetingness of every situation, which is due to the transience of all forms, good or bad. When you become aware of the transience of all forms, your attachment to them lessens and you disidentify from them to some extent. Being detached does not mean that you cannot enjoy the good that the world has to offer. In fact, you enjoy it more. Once you see and accept the transience of all things and the inevitability of change, you can enjoy the pleasures of the world while they last, without fear of loss or anxiety about the future. When you are detached, you gain a higher vantage point from which you view the events in your life, instead of being trapped inside of them. You become like an astronaut who sees the planet Earth surrounded by the vastness of space and realizes a paradoxical truth. The Earth is precious and at the same time insignificant. When you are no longer totally identified with form, consciousness, your soul, who you are, becomes freed from its imprisonment in form. This freedom is the arising of inner space. It comes as a stillness, a subtle peace deep within you. Even in the face of something seemingly bad, this too will pass. Suddenly there is space around the event. There's also space around the emotional highs and lows, even around pain. And above all, there is space between your thoughts. And from this space emanates a peace that is not of this world, because this world is form and the peace is space.